Hi everyone, my name's Kayla. Welcome back for another week of Monster Munchies. So this week's theme is biscuits and rolls. I'm going to be making some dinner rolls today. It's something I always like to have on hand. I put them in the freezer and pull a few out anytime we need a roll with dinner. I'm going to fancy it up a little bit this week. I'm going to be making buttery fan rolls. So let's go for it. I'm going to start out whisking together 8 tablespoons of melted butter and 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, along with 1 3/4 ounces sugar, one whole egg, and 1 egg yolk. Jiggle that. Okay, and then just the yolk goes in. I'm gonna whisk that together until the sugar is dissolved. When the sugar looks like it's dissolved in there, I'm gonna go on to my dry ingredients. I'm gonna take 17.5 ounces of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and a tablespoon of instant yeast, and I'm gonna whisk those together in the bowl of my stand mixer. So once that's all nice and mixed up, I'm going to put the bowl in my stand mixer. I have the dough hook attachment on right now. I'm going to start it running on low speed. And I'm going to slowly pour my liquid mixture in until it's all incorporated. Once it looks like the flour is all incorporated in there, I'm going to give the sides a quick scrape down to make sure nothing gets left behind. And then I'm gonna knead it for about 6 minutes on medium-low speed, so a little bit faster than it was stirring together for 6 minutes. So after 6 minutes, the dough should be clearing the sides of the bowl and should look relatively smooth. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a knead by hand. So sprinkle a little bit of flour down on the counter, turn the dough out. Once it's all come together, you're going to shape it into a ball. And put your ball into a lightly oiled bowl, seam side down, and let it rise until it's doubled in size, about 1.5 to 2 hours, making sure to cover it tightly with plastic wrap, or in my case, a lid. So now that my dough has had time to rise, I'm gonna turn it out onto the countertop and start shaping. So I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down. Plop out my dough, and I am going to cut it in half. I'm gonna work with 1/2 and put the other half underneath some greased plastic wrap over to the side. So what I'm gonna do is roll this out into a big old rectangle. It's supposed to get up to 12 inches by 15 inches. So I'll work on that. Okay, so now that this piece is rolled out, I'm gonna trim the sides a little to make sure it's a nice rectangle. And then I am going to cut it into approximately 2.5 inch strips vertically. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I somehow ended up with 7, which is not quite right. It's supposed to be 6. I now have 7. I'm gonna work with that. So what I'm gonna do, I have a little bowl of melted butter here. I'm going to brush the tops of these and stack them, leaving the top one unbuttered. So now that I have my dough stacked in a strip like this, I'm gonna cut this stack into 6 pieces. So I'm gonna trim the edges first so they're even. And then cut these into 6 pieces. And when I cut them, I'm gonna stick these guys cut side up into a greased muffin tray, like so. And then I'm going to repeat that with my other piece of dough. So now that all of these rolls are assembled and in their muffin tins, I'm gonna cover the whole thing with some greased plastic wrap and let them sit and rise for another 1.5 to 2 hours until they just about double in size. So now that these rolls have gotten nice and big, we're gonna put them in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown. And I'm probably gonna flip the pan around halfway so they bake evenly as well. So now it's been about 20 minutes. I'm gonna take them out of the oven. Come on, guys. Ouch. Okay, and they're looking really brown and tasty. So I'm gonna let them cool for about 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna brush them down with some butter and some salt. So now that these have had some time to cool off, I'm gonna hit them up with a little bit of melted butter. And then I'm gonna give them a little sprinkle of some sea salt. And then they should be ready to eat. If you want to freeze these, I would do it before brushing the butter on. Freeze them when you're ready to eat them, stick them in the oven, and brush them with the butter and salt after that. So let's take a look inside one of these. So they're definitely a little bit fancier than the average dinner roll. Ooh, I can already tell they're gonna be good. They're super soft and flaky. Now that is a buttery dinner roll. I highly recommend making these if you want something that looks a little bit fancier than your average roll. But let's see what the cat thinks. Smell this. Smell all the butter that's in here. Oh yeah, Kitty likes it. As you can tell from his physique, he's a big fan of butter. And that is all for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll be making something else next week. Bye!